Phil, you sort of at this launch event at Twickenham, and you've got the shirt on now. Is it starting to feel like we're finally getting there, and you're going to be out getting involved in this competition now after probably 2 years talking about it?
Yeah, definitely. It was a bit of a curveball when it got cancelled last year with the pandemic. But the closer we sort of get to it, and the more of these events you do, the realer and realer it gets. And to be honest, I can't wait now.
Has that extra time, that sort of year extra, a lot of that year has been spent kicking your heels at home and probably not playing as much cricket as you would like. Has that given you any extra time to sort of think about this new format and the new platform, really, to find new fans for the game?
Not really, because I've been busy playing other stuff throughout the winter. But coming back and starting the county season again, it's pretty obvious that this is the sort of thing that everybody wants to be playing in. It's the first time in a while we've had such a high volume of international players coming to play in a domestic competition. So can't wait.
You've played a little bit around the world in various competitions on the franchise circuit, Phil. Do you think, given sort of the calibre of overseas and maybe the concentration of the talent in England, squeezing it into a smaller number of teams, do you think this competition can sort of really make a claim to be up there with the best in the world?
Yeah, definitely. Most other countries or test player nations have their own sort of franchise competition, and I think it was a matter of time until we sort of moved in this direction. Obviously, the fact it's 100 balls and all the rest of it, adds a slightly different spin on it. But as a player, just excited to give it a crack and to sort of lead the way forward, really.
And you're actually a Manchester original, aren't you? You were picked first time round as well.
I am, yeah. There was only 4 of us in the WhatsApp group at one point, but now there's a few more faces.
So I mean, when you found out you were getting picked up by different, I know they are affiliated to the counties, but you've been picked up by someone who wasn't affiliated to your home county. Were you quite happy to sort of go and be the face of Manchester?
Yeah, very happy. Obviously Old Trafford's a great ground. It's a great place to play. I do love Manchester. There's also a bit of pride in being picked by Simon Cassidy. He's a top coach. I've been keeping in touch with him regularly and talking about my game and little tweaks I can make and improvements I can make. And, I'm really looking forward to actually getting him over here and working with him.
If I can ask you, Phil, about the possibility of being involved in that potentially the first moment of action of the men's 100. I spoke to Kate Cross about the idea that she might bowl the first ball of the 100. And she was saying, she'd be desperate just to not be called wide, and sort of get through that first ball. Presumably there's half a chance you walk out and face up to the first ball of men's 100 cricket ever.
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, at least if I get out, it'll be some sort of brilliant pub quiz question in 10 years.
Have you thought about that? Like, I mean, would you be keen to, if you're out in that game against Oval Invincibles, do you want to get out there and bat first if you win the toss and just get into the game from ball one?
Yeah, whichever gives. I know it's a boring answer, but whichever gives us the best chance of winning the game. It's not that important to me. It's brilliant to be playing the first game, though. That is what I will say. That's a really exciting thing to be a part of, because the world's eyes are going to be on that.
I mean, does it feel like playing that first game with so much spectacle and as you say, so many people watching, that there is a real chance? I mean, we all remember Brendan McCullum scored a huge century in the IPL. Like, there is a chance to give the thing a real kickstart, isn't there? And if the two teams can put on a show, there's a real chance.
Oh, absolutely, and I'd love that to be me. I'd love that to be me. Going and getting a big score in the first game and winning the game for my side. But we're gonna have to see.
Presumably, in those first 2 or 3 matches, there's a good chance you would open the batting with Josh Butler, I guess.
Yeah. spoken to Kat quite a bit about our sort of plans. I am looking forward to playing with Joss. I've had the opportunity to pick his brains a couple of times in and around the England stuff, but to actually get a few games and a good crack at it with him, more than anything, just see how he goes about it, how he operates, how he trains, how he plays. That sort of intensity that he carries with him at all times is going to be a really sort of valuable experience, I think.
There's a fair school of thought that Josh Butler is England's best ever white ball batsman. Is that the level that you see Josh with the versatility really, and the different, almost the different roles he can play within a short match?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you look at his last few months. You got people arguing whether he's a better opening batter, whether he's better at four, whether he's better slightly further down. When you don't have those sort of conversations about you unless you are an exceptional cricketer. And he showed us that not only in the last year or so, but years and years and years, especially with the performances in an England shirt. So to be able to play with somebody like that is really exciting for myself.
And England presumably still the next step for you. You've had that little taste, and I suppose building a partnership with someone like Joss, it's just there. It shows you just that next level, perhaps. And are you looking at this, the 100 and the sort of attention, the platform that comes with it as a chance to take that step?
Yeah, definitely. The 100 is obviously a bigger stage, and any sort of performances there are going to do me no harm. But as badly as I want to play for England and as hard as I'm working to get towards that, I'm not too focused on the end goal. Obviously I would love to, but for me, it's more about focusing. It's pretty boring, but day to day, how am I going to get better today, this week, this month, the next 6 months? How am I going to keep making improvements to make me a top class international player, so that I don't just get my opportunity, but when I get my opportunity, I take it with both hands and run with it.
And specifically Manchester, the overseas players you've got, how you liking how it's shaping up this time?
Yeah, I like it. I've played 3 seasons with Shadab in the PSL. He's a great lad, seriously good all-rounder as well, and good cricket brain, so very pleased to have him. Obviously got Rabada, who's a hell of a bowler. We got Nicholas Pooran, who's as good as anyone in world cricket at the moment. So very excited to sort of play with these guys.
With the 10 ball innovation, the sort of the possibility of a bowler doubling up, as a batsman, how do you approach that really? Do you see that if someone's giving you a bit of trouble, does it make it easier maybe to line them up if they fancy staying on and having another crack at you? Would you expect that to be used often, or do you think that gives a batsman just too much of a look?
It's going to be really interesting how that's used, because everybody's going to have different theories for it. As you just said, it could be used one way, it could be used another. Everybody's going to have different theories and use it differently. To be honest, I think as a batter, you've got to read the game yourself and react to what you think in the moment. Sometimes you might think, right, I'm lining him up here. This is my matchup and this is my option. But other times you've got to say, he's bowling well. The wicket might be giving him, a bit more over me right now. I'll just get through this and try and find another matchup.
Nice. And just lastly, how hard do you think, given chopping another 20 balls off the top of the game, how hard is it going to be to score 100 in the 100?
Wouldn't that be nice?
It'd be talk about pub quiz questions. To me, the first 100 in the 100 would be something.
That's the dream ticket. But that would be impressive. It would be impressive batting. I'm sure it's been done a few times before, hasn't it? 100 before 16.4.
Yeah, I'm sure it has. Yeah, but not too many. What's your quickest 100 in T20?
Quickest 100. I've not got a T20 100 just yet.
Okay. Oh, this is perfect then.
No, I've got a couple of 18 not outs, but we chased them down.
So it will take some going, won't it? It's, I suppose batsmen, you're always, even no matter how short the game is, that 100 is kind of it is the dream ticket, as you say. So there will be a bit of a chase on amongst you guys, and it almost has to be someone from the top 3, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you get going, you get the team off to a flyer, and then there's a couple of matchups you like. You know, I'm sure it is possible. You know, and I'd love it to be one of the guys from our side or myself.